So I left LA, sort of. I bought a house in Palm Springs, and today I'm gonna explain why I bought in Palm Springs instead of LA, and I'll give you guys a full tour of the house. I already know what you guys are thinking. Why Palm Springs? I thought you just moved in LA. Are you moving to Palm Springs? Why would you buy a house in Palm Springs? Okay, so we have to get one thing clear first. I'm not moving to Palm Springs full time. I am still living in LA. I did buy a house here in Palm Springs as an investment that myself and my sister are going to be turning into a vacation rental. I know it probably seems weird to do this instead of buying in the place I actually live, but I have a few reasons. It just didn't really make sense to buy in LA. So I've lived in LA for 7 years now, and I really like living here, but I don't want to buy here, at least not yet. Here's the thing, it's really expensive. Even with $1 million, you can't really buy an actual house within the city unless it's something that needs a lot of work. So for $775,000, you can get this 840 square foot condo. A lot of these condos, you'll notice they just have no light coming into them. There will be windows on one side, and as someone who works from home, I would just never ever buy that. I wouldn't even rent that. Basically what I found that I would be able to actually buy, I didn't really see myself wanting to live in long term, and in some cases I wouldn't want to live in it really at all. Don't get me wrong, a lot of these are nice, they're good places, but I don't want to commit to buying one, and I feel like the price is just insanely high for what you're getting. Additionally, I love the flexibility to move, to live with friends, to not be tied down to any one spot. I don't even think I could pick a location and stick to it for 5 years in LA without wanting to move. And if you buy a place and then sell it just a few years later, you're just spending a ton of money on realtor fees, and it's just not really worth it. So that's kind of why I feel like buying in LA doesn't really make sense for me. It's just really expensive for what you get. Also, I really love the house I live in LA, and I wouldn't be able to afford to buy this house. So the only way to live in a house like this is to rent it with friends. So that's why I decided not to buy in LA yet, but it doesn't really explain why I picked Palm Springs. But before we get into that, a quick word from our sponsor, Morning Brew. If you guys haven't heard of Morning Brew, it's a daily business newsletter. They take all the news in tech, finance, business world and put it into a really good, easy to read email that you can get through in 5 minutes. I really like starting my morning with Morning Brew because it gets me up to speed really quick with what's going on in the world, and it keeps me from going on social media. Before, I would go on social media to find my news, and then I would just keep scrolling and scrolling. Also, let's be real, the regular news can be kind of dry, kind of boring, a little bit dense, and Morning Brew is more witty and to the point. It's completely free and it takes less than 15 seconds to subscribe. So if you're interested in business, tech, and finance, there's really no reason not to subscribe. Become smarter in 5 minutes by signing up for Morning Brew today. I'll have the link down in the description, and thank you for Morning Brew for sponsoring this video. Okay, so why Palm Springs? Palm Springs has a track record of being one of the most profitable places to set up a short-term rental. And I think short-term rentals give you an opportunity to make a lot more money than long-term rentals. So a lot of the houses in my neighborhood with the exact same floor plan, if they're fixed up pretty nice, can rent for $400 to $500 a night right now. You would think it would be less because of the illness, but prices really have shot up and it's crazy. Of course, those rates won't last forever, but even when the illness is over, festivals get the most insane nightly rates I've ever seen. Okay, so this house right here, we actually made an offer on back in March, and we didn't get it, but guys, I found it on Airbnb and it is booked up, and it's getting like 400 plus per night. So this is that same house. As you can see, it's very booked, and the few days that are available are going for $465 a night. So basically that's the goal. Of course, nightly rates fluctuate depending on the season and day of the week, but usually it's between $250 and $500 per night. And actually on Airbnb right now, it shows a 3-bed, 2-bath on average is going for $539 per night. So back in March, my sister Monica and I started exploring this idea. We toured tons of houses in the $600,000 to $800,000 range. We made some offers, learned a lot about how short-term rentals work out here, and finally in the fall, we closed on one. So here it is. Here is the house that my sister and I ended up purchasing. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house with a huge pool for $752,000. Okay, so it's not perfect, and you know, actually it has a ton of issues, but I really think after the renovations, this house is gonna do amazing on Airbnb. Now I'll give you guys a tour of the house. It's not done yet, but it'll give you a feel for what we're working with. Keep in mind it's under construction kinda, and it's nowhere near done being decorated, but let's take a look. So this is the entryway. We installed this light, just a lot more modern than what was there before. I think it looks really good, really simple, nice. Right here is gonna be the owner's closet for Airbnb. It'll just be the spot where we keep extra paper towels, cleaning supplies. Right here is not super fun, but it is our water heater and our air heater, which is very loud, both of them. We do want to reconfigure this somewhere and make this into like a bar area. This is, you know, kind of unused space that we want to turn into like a cool little spot. Come into the main living area. So this is really the only like living area of the house. We painted the ceilings white just for a cleaner look. The wood that was on it had been painted, sandblasted off, had a little water damage. There were just spots on it that looked not good. And a lot of the houses here do this all white look, sometimes with a brown beam, which looks really cool. And so I think it looks a lot better. Eventually when we have different flooring, it will look like incredible. This is kind of done, but not really yet. Different rug will be here. We lovingly call this the alien docking station. It's not original to the house. The sellers added it, and it's pretty expensive to get rid of it. And it does bring in some light, makes the room feel bigger. So we're definitely not done decorating this area, but you get a feel for what we're working with. So, little dining area here. We're gonna have a light coming down, and here is the kitchen, which has already had quite a bit done to it, but a lot left to go. So we took down a wall. So when we bought it, the kitchen was closed off by this wall, so it felt really small, kind of awkward and cramped, and we knew immediately we wanted to open this up. This wall is another thing that wasn't original to the house, so by getting rid of it, we're actually getting it closer to the mid-century look it had when it was built. You can see, you know, remnants of that. And it's just open now. It's way better. It just feels totally different. Before it was a really small, cramped kitchen, and it's so much brighter in the whole house. You can see the mountains. It's already feeling so much better, even though it's kind of a mess. So we are gonna do new cabinets and countertops because these actually look okay on camera, but they're pretty old. They don't close all the way. Like this one's falling off. If they were nice quality and like real wood that was like worth keeping, we'd probably, you know, paint them or whatever, but they're not, as you can see. So we're gonna go with new cabinets. Listen. The style of the kitchen now is pretty traditional looking, so we're excited to update this and make it look more modern to fit the house. The layout kind of works. Once we move this over, we'll have like counter space and the microwave will go somewhere. I'm so excited for the kitchen. I think it's gonna look awesome. It's already like so much brighter. This isn't even a before. This is like a during. That is the main living area. Since it is an Airbnb, we decided to make one room a room that has twin beds. This room is definitely not done. So before, this was kind of used as an office, and we are turning it into a bedroom that has 2 twin beds so it can accommodate 2 people. And this will be a closet. Yeah, it had this built-in thing that really didn't have a good function for an Airbnb. This room it's not done being decorated. It's still pretty bare, but you get the general like layout. Okay, on to the next room. Okay, so this room I'm really excited for. It's gonna be kind of old Hollywood themed. It's also not done yet. We'll probably paint, you know, it still needs. There are no lights in this room actually at all yet, so we still need that. It's the smallest bedroom, still fits a queen bed pretty easily, so that's great for Airbnb. One thing I love about this house is the clerestory windows in the bedrooms. I think they look so cool and they make really cool shadows on the walls. Here we have the washer, no dryer yet. This is gonna be moved and then we're gonna eventually extend the bathroom. Here is the first bathroom. So the bathrooms in all these styles of houses are really small because these were built to be vacation homes. So they like really skimped on the bathrooms because you don't really, you know, if it's 3 or 4 days, it's fine. One thing I really love though about this one is it has a skylight. Not all of the houses have that, so you get some natural light. The bathroom, you know, it's not like the coolest, I don't want to be like mean to it. I think the bathroom is one of the things in this house that's like decently up to date, pretty modern. It could be a lot cooler and we could really have some fun with it, but to be honest, it's like the last priority because I think most people would come in here and think nothing of it. Like they would think it's totally fine. Eventually, I think we're gonna like really make this cool, but probably not for a very long time. Okay, actually there is one weird thing about this bathroom. I can't believe I forgot to mention it, but this entire wall is a mirror. It's just strange because why would this be a mirror? Like, do you want to watch yourself go to the bathroom? I don't know. It's kind of weird. I guess it makes the bathroom feel a little bit bigger, but it's very strange and we'll probably change this at some point. And here we have Oliver's bedroom. No, this is the biggest bedroom in the house. So this bedroom, we haven't painted the ceiling yet. I actually thought the natural wood looked kind of cool in the bedrooms, but to match the whole house, we're still gonna do this one white. Like that'd be pretty weird if it was just the only one with natural wood. We went for a king bed in this room because it's the biggest. That's kind of what all the Airbnbs do here. Really awesome windows, high ceilings. This room is so great. I love it. It's gonna be really cool. So we are gonna take out this tile, change out the sconces. There will be a bed frame. It's gonna be awesome, but it won't be like that for a little while. And there will be a video about it. So a full video just about this room. This room has its own access to the backyard. So that's pretty cool. Little side yard over here. And the second bathroom. So it's really about the same size as the first one. Kind of small, but you know, does the job. This one has a door to the outside, so that's a really good opportunity to get some windows, some natural light. So I think we're gonna change that out. But it's a good sized bathroom. It actually has a bathtub that's like sunken in. It's nice to have a bathtub. I don't even have a bathtub at my house that I live at. And here's the backyard. As you can see, it's in the demolition phase, but I'm very excited for it. So here's a look at the backyard before we even bought the house. It's a really good size. It has a whole side yard area, and of course, like I mentioned, it has this really, honestly, unusually big pool. It is a very large pool. It's a really good size, but it really does not compare aesthetically to the other Airbnbs out there, so it's gonna need a lot of work. We're putting a lot of money and work into the yard because that's kind of what people are going to Palm Springs for. You spend like 90% of the time in the yard, so we really want it to feel lush and like a resort, and before it kind of felt like grandma's backyard. It's just going to be a lot cleaner, it's going to look a lot better, and even like, I know it looks crazy right now, but to me it looks better. I don't know how to describe it, but I'm super excited for the yard. We took down that overhang and this is how it looks. So it's going to be a little repairing this, but it gave us a lot more space, and it also gives you that line of the house better so you can see the butterfly roof, which I think is really cool. When the overhang was there, it kind of distracted it. You couldn't really see it anymore. But yeah, there's like even more yard space over here, so we are gonna do something to this. Come on over, there's a whole side yard. So chain link fence is gone. Pretty much all of these plants are going except the bird of paradise. I know a lot of people are shocked at our decision to get rid of these plants, but the truth is a lot of these plants, most of these plants, are not meant for the desert. They require a ton of water. A lot of them die after 10 or 15 years. They're really not meant for this landscape. I also personally don't think they look good. Probably gonna do like a fire pit over here. But yeah, this is the general look of the yard. My goal is to have this feel like a lush little resort. We're definitely putting the most money into the yard, which I think will attract a lot more renters. So that is the house and my basic explanation of why I bought here, because I know it's like been a little confusing if you follow me on Instagram, which if you don't, you definitely should. I'm posting on my story house renovations all the time. It's just at Shelby Church. Give it a follow if you want to follow along with that. I know I didn't really go into exactly how much I think it'll make on Airbnb, but I've done a really good amount of research. The thing is, right now it's all just estimates, and you already know I'm gonna do earnings updates once it's actually on Airbnb, so stay tuned for that because I think it will be pretty interesting. Alright, that is it for this video, but if you want to see more house updates, I've uploaded a ton of vlogs about it. In fact, the backyard actually already looks way different from what I showed in this video, so go check it out. I'll link it down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!